This video will cover adding a beehiiv form to a Framer site using either the embed or Webhook method. Beehiiv is an all-in-one newsletter platform built specifically to help creators, writers, and digital publishers draft, send, monetize, and scale email newsletters. However, it's more than just a newsletter platform. I'll switch on over to my beehiiv dashboard and you can see some of the features. So it allows you to create newsletters, and it also has a template library that you can manage your subscribers, automations. However, automations, this will require a paid plan. It has a website builder. If I switch to the builder, you can see that this is the builder. It also has an AI website builder. I'll just exit the builder for now. You can host your podcast on beehiiv or import an existing podcast. You've got the ability to create a community. This will require a paid plan. Ad network. This also requires a paid plan, a built-in ad network for your publications. Option to sell digital products, and this requires a paid plan. Paid subscriptions. Also the AI assistant, which this is available on all plans. And for advanced options, you've got integrations, MCP. That just covers some of the features that beehiiv offers. Regarding pricing, you can start for free and scale according to your needs. Framer is a visual website builder and design tool. Allows you to animate and publish production-ready websites without writing code. And since Framer 3.0 was released, it has been an AI-first website builder. And Framer is ideal for startups, small businesses, or individuals that need landing pages, design portfolios, marketing sites, and blogs. beehiiv allows you to build websites. This video covers embedding or adding a form to an existing Framer site. With Framer, you can start for free and scale as needed. The quickest and simplest method to add a beehiiv form to a Framer site is by using the embed method. But to do that, in beehiiv, go to subscribers, and then under subscribers, go to subscriber forms. And then here you can create a new form if you haven't done so already, or edit an existing form. I'm going to edit an existing form, so I'm just going to go there, edit, and here I have my form already set up with a styling that matches the site, and this uses the beehiiv default styling. So I styled it by just updating the colors. So you can include things like the header here, title, subtitle, and then you've got additional fields you can add here. I've just kept this as a simple field with just the first name and email address, and then you have the options to customize the form further here, and then you also have form settings. The options you need are here, including privacy policy related options such as requiring consent. So I've just kept this as a simple form. Get embed code and then copy that. And you've also got the option to add attribution tracking. However, we'll ignore that for now. I'm just going to use the embed code, and then I'll switch to my Framer site. So yeah, I have a Framer site built out. And I'm going to add my form here to this section here, this empty section. I can see that I actually have a component, so I'll have to edit this component. And then here, you can see I have a frame here that I can use for the embed that's already laid out where I want to add my embed or my form. So I'm just going to select that and to go to the insert menu here, or by pressing I, and then utility, and then I go to the embed and I simply drag that into that block there. Then I can adjust the settings by giving it a fill and then setting that to fit. Go down here to embed, and then I choose HTML, paste that in there, and then I can preview this and see if it works. So there I go. I can see that my embed works. I can add the first name, email, and then I can submit here. So if I go back, and then I can test the form. Alternatively, I can also use the AI agent to build out my form. So I'm just going to remove this here. Then I'll select that, go to the agent. I can use this here to just select that block there. And then I'm going to use a prompt. I can choose which agent I'd like to use. I'll switch to GPT 5.6 Luna. Going to send that. So that's the AI method to add the form. I'm just going to test the form now. I've got the success pop-up, and I'm going to just verify. I've logged into my beehiiv dashboard, and I'm just going to go to subscribers over here, and I can see that I've received that subscription over here. Next, I'll cover option 2, which is to add a native form using a webhook. This is recommended if you want complete or total design control over your frame of form. And it will also require making use of a third-party service, such as make.com or Zapier. I'll be making use of make.com, and also the option to make use of a webhook is only available on the paid plans. So to get started, the webhook, I'm first going to need my API key. So I'll go to Settings, select the API page. If you haven't verified, I'll have the option to verify here. As I've already verified my identity, I can now create a new API key. I'll need my API key and publishing ID. Go ahead and create my new API key, and then say create new key. And then I'll need to copy that key. And then once I've saved the key, note down my publication ID over here. Copy that. So now that I have my API key and my publication ID, which is the API version 2 version here, I'm going to head on over to Make and then create my scenario, my webhook scenario. Right, so from my Make dashboard, I'm going to create a new scenario. I'll go to Create Scenario, then type in beehiiv to add a beehiiv module. I'll choose Watch for Subscribers. Then I can choose an existing hook or create a new one. I'm going to create a new one. Save that, and then I'm going to copy my webhook URL, note it down, and save this. Then I'll add a new module, search for beehiiv, and then I want to create a subscriber, and I'm going to use my API key that I used before. So I'm going to not use this API key. I'm going to create a new one. Choose beehiiv API key. Then I'm going to paste my API key and publication ID from the previous step. And then I'm going to save that. And then for the email address, I'll just make sure that I choose the options here that have email. So under subscriber data, I'll just select email, and I'll leave that as that. The rest I'll leave as is for now, and then I'll save that. Then I'm going to switch back to beehiiv and then add my webhook. So to add my webhook, I'll go to Settings, Webhooks, and this is available on the paid plan. So create webhook endpoint. I'm going to paste that URL. Going to give it a name. I'm going to make sure that's toggled on and continue. And then the event type I want is subscription created. And with that selected, create webhook. And with my webhook created, I'm going to switch to Framer and then add the webhook. So yeah, I'm going to switch back to my form. So I've added the embed. I'm going to remove the embed and I'm going to connect my existing form instead. So yeah, I have an existing form. If I select this form here and go here, I can see that I can add my webhook here. So I'm going to simply just go webhook, add the URL from the step before. And then that's essentially done. Then I can test this form to make sure it works. Alternatively, I could also just use the agent, select this here, and then ask the agent, add the webhook here with the URL. But I'm just going to leave this as is for now, as I've already added my form. So I'm just going to exit that. I'm just going to test that it's working. So to do that, I'm going to switch to make.com. So yeah, I'm back in my scenario. I'm going to select this, run once. With that running, I'm going to switch back to Framer and test my form. Just submit the form and switch back to make. So I've got an error, so I'll just have a look here. Maybe I'll just add the additional here, make sure I have both selected here, and I'll save that and I'll run again. Right, so now that seems to be working. And save that. Go back to my scenario. As long as I start on, the webhook will continue working. I'll switch back to beehiiv, and I can see here I've received my subscription. So that webhook seems to be working fine. Next, I'm going to add a welcome email and then test it with the webhook. So now that I've confirmed that my form is working, I'm going to add a welcome email. So I have two options with beehiiv. I can either add a welcome email or welcome automation. A welcome email, it's available on all plans. The automation is only available on the paid plans. However, automation is recommended if you plan to use segmentation or a multi-step welcome automation. So to send a welcome email, go to settings, emails, then right at the bottom here, set up my welcome email. It's already set up, so I can simply go view welcome email. And then from here, I can edit my email or make use of a template. So yeah, I have very simple email laid out. And with that set up, I simply have to go back to emails at the bottom and then toggle that on to ensure that there's welcome emails. However, I don't plan to make use of the welcome email as I want to make use of an automation. As I plan to make use of a welcome automation, I'm just going to keep this toggled off, as if I keep this toggle on and have an automation, the welcome email will continue to send. So I'll make sure that's toggled off. I'll switch back and then I'll go to automations here. So if it's your first time creating an automation, you might have a dialog here to prompt you to create your first automation. And here I have the option to create an automation. And if I use this drop down here, I can start from scratch or use a template. I'm going to use a template. So I just want a welcome email. So I'll say template. And then I can go down here, browse the templates. I'm going to use this one here, welcome email. And say use template by clicking on that option there. And then here I have my welcome email with re-entry. And then I've got a newsletter already added here. I want to remove this one, so I'm just going to select this over here, and then I'm going to go here and delete this email. And the reason for that is I want to add my own email. So here I can say create email, and then I'm going to choose an existing template here that I have, and then just confirm I have all my details as needed, and that looks okay to me. And then I can send a test email just to make sure that everything's correct. And once I'm done there, I can just go back, and now I have my custom email, and then I'm just going to publish that automation. And with the automation set up now, I'm just going to run a test again. So I'm going to be sure I don't have any subscribers, as this will have to be a new subscriber. I'll switch back to Framer and then just test the form. Alright, so if I switch back to beehiiv, I can see I've received the subscription here, 1 subscriber, and I've also received the email in my inbox. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe for more videos.